Okay, so everyone, welcome to Kailul Kol Shira in partnership with Breslov.org and of course Yeshiva Torah Shemin. Okay, today we're gonna learn Baruch Hashem. We're here in the Young Israel of Woodmere live. Wow, amazing! And on the Zoom here, this is great. We have it's just what a beautiful schos. So let's learn about the parsha B'chukaisei. There's so many things. There's so many things going on in this parsha. Right, the parsha is divided up into three sections. Right, what are the three sections? The parsha starts off with brachas. Right, the Torah tells you, right, and you this, and I'll give you good things. Everything will go nice. And then the Torah switches to the klalas, the evil. Right, if you don't do what you don't do what you're supposed to do, so then you're gonna get the patch. It's not gonna work out good. And then the third part of the parsha, the Torah introduces this idea of erchen, right? What's erchen? The value, right? So you can give, a person can give his own value for Hegdish. He can make it to the Beis HaMikdash, and he can give the money for it, or he could take an animal and he can be Makdish the animal, right? You could do that, and then all the different halachas of that come from this part. So the parsha is divided into three sections, okay? And then, so now, and I just wanted to say something nice that, Reb Simcha Zissel, the Saba of Mekelim, right? We heard of the Saba of Mekelim, right? Mm-hmm. So he said like this, in B'chukaisei Telechu, right? So we know that Rashi says, Tiyu Amelim B'Torah, right? You have to be amul, in Torah. You have to be, you have to put your effort in, right? Toil in your Torah. So he gives an example of what does it mean? What does this mean? Toil in Torah. What does that mean? So he gives an example like this. He said that you come into a person's home, and everything is set so nice, and the people are dressed so nice, and they have a beautiful meal, and they eat well. Everything is nice, and everything is. It looks so prim and proper. It's so beautiful. But then you notice when they stand up, the people are all balei mumim. One's missing a toe, one's missing some fingers, one can't walk, one's this, one's that. So he says, how does that can pertain to amelim b'Torah? So he says like this. He says, kol zman, a person, as long as a person's in the Beis Medrash, as long as a person's learning Torah, and he's in an atmosphere of Torah, right? He's in the Beis Medrash, he's in shul, so then he acts with the proper decorum. He's in the shul, he senses the kedusha of the shul, of the kedusha of the people that he's around. He feels the kedusha of the Torah. But he said that amul b'Torah means when I leave the Beis Medrash, how do I act? What do I do when I leave the Beis Medrash? So kol zman I'm in the Beis Medrash, it's gevaldik. Yeah, okay, everything is good, it's great. Not like the people is in his example. They were sitting, everything looked prim and proper, everything was, when they stood up, you saw the moment. You saw all the blemishes of the people. And that's what it means. It's so important that we can't act different than when we're in shul. There's when we leave the shul, when we leave the yeshiva, to go back home. Why? Because we know the first principle in the Shulchan Aruch is Shavisi Hashem L'negdi Samim. I'm always with Hashem, no matter where I am. I can't say Hashem is in the Beis Medrash, but when I leave the Beis Medrash, now I'm on my own. But that's a fundamental belief that we don't believe in. And I have to tell you, if you think about it, maybe 100 years ago, you needed more emunah to believe this idea, that everything that we have is nechtav, and everything's written down. Everything that we did is right. But today, anywhere you go, there are cameras. Right, there's cameras over here. Right, they're watching us right here now. Right, and then you go on the streets, there are cameras all over the place. Right, and then you carry your telephone, and they know where you're going. Right, all these different things. They know. They know. So if they can know over here, and then there are satellites, right? Well, what about all of the satellites, right? All the satellites. So they know exactly what we're doing. So if we ever, we're questioning how can in Shemayim they would know, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is making it very easy for us to understand that today. So we have to really take that to heart. Okay, so let's see now inside this beautiful piece here. And this is a piece from the Nesiva Shalom. It's fascinating, but in an understanding of why, I'll just tell you outside real quick. If you follow my chukim, first another question is why are all the mitzvahs called chukim now? Really, it's talking about all your mitzvahs. So why are all the mitzvahs? Why are they all called chukim? You ever think of that? Why are in the parsha they're called chukim? A chayk is an ordinance. A chayk is something I don't know the reason for, right? Like Shlomo Melech didn't understand paraduma. It's a chayk. He didn't understand. Even Shlomo Melech, the wisest man of ever, he couldn't understand that. But so why is all the Torah always chukim? So the Svarim bring down why is that? Because we have to view every mitzvah as a chayk. Whether we know the reason or we don't know the reason, it's not important. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told us in the Torah, we do it, and we follow the mitzvah, and we do it b'dechilu u'rechimu, we do it with love and fear, every mitzvah that we do, the best that we can, as if it was a chayk. Because for us to think, and us to say that we really know the reason for a mitzvah is silly. And that's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu is showing us in this parasha. If you go with my chukim, they're all chukim. View all the mitzvahs of the Torah, all 613 mitzvahs, view them as chukim, not as something that I can perceive, I understand, and I know why this is Hashem's mitzvah. We have no idea.
To think so would be impudence.
Yes, okay. Perfect. Okay, so let's see. So here we go. See Aleph over there, okay? That's mitzvah say tishmor v'asisem oisam, and I'll follow them and I'll do them. I'll give in the land, we'll have plenty of produce. The land will, in Eretz Yisrael, will have everything that it needs. Everything will be plentiful. Kfar amdu ha'mefarshim al kol inyan habrocha is v'avtocha is beparsha. So all the Mefarshim are talking about. Wait a minute, what's going on over here? Why is the Torah giving us all of these haftachas? Why is the Torah giving us these promises and these blessings? Harei schar mitzvah b'hai alma leika. We know the klal. Chazal teach us schar mitzvah b'hai alma leika. The reward for a mitzvah in this world doesn't exist. Wait a minute. So if in this world, the schar mitzvah, the reward that you get for following a mitzvah doesn't exist. So then, why is the Torah telling us here that you get? I'll give you bracha, you'll have produce, you'll have riches, you'll have everything. It doesn't work. So let's see. Shekol ha'olam einay shava l'schar mitzvah achas. The whole world, if someone would give you. You can have everything in the world, all the riches of the world, all the minerals of the world, all the whatever of everything of the world. It's yours. Just do this mitzvah. It's not worth it. The mitzvah is much more valuable than everything of this world. Could you imagine that? A mitzvah is more valuable. I told you the ma'aseh with the Chavetz Chaim. Remember, there was a ma'aseh with the Chavetz Chaim. There was one time in Radin, the Bachrim. There was a financial problem, nothing new. In yeshivas, they have financial problems, right? So the Chavetz Chaim had problems here. He was having a problem to fund the meals in the dormitory for the boys that were staying in yeshiva. And they were worried, they didn't know what to do. So they called a meeting the night before, and the Bachrim saw that, the Balabatim, they came in from Radin, they were meeting with the Chavetz Chaim. He took time out of his Seder, his Seder Alimut for this meeting. That they were like, wow, what is it? So one Bacher came over to the Chavetz Chaim in the morning after davening. And he said to him, Rebbe, I have an idea to fix the problem. What can we do? So he says, I just put on my tefillin today. Baruch Hashem, I put on my tefillin every day. So what I want to do is like this. I would like to offer the reward for my putting on my tefillin today, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu should give the Rosh Yeshiva all the money he needs to cover the problems, so that way the Rosh Yeshiva can go on with his day and his limud as Torah, and everything should be okay. Oh, the Chafetz Chaim gave him a big smile. Of course, he was the most delicious person around. He gave him a big smile. Perhaps he even gave him a big hug. And he said to him, but it won't work. It won't work. Why? HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeps the Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu also keeps the Torah. Your schar for putting on your tefillin today is more precious than everything in the world, like we just said over here. It's more precious than everything in the world. Everything. Could you imagine all the gold and the silver and the pearls and the jewels and the diamonds?
Yeah, but that means you can't be rewarded for a mitzvah, though. I mean, I don't know.
In this world.
Which is my
in this world. In this world. But Ernie, you don't know what you got waiting for you. I mean, it's a Shabbat 120 years and right in the right.
Yeah.
No, that's what we're learning over here, to see the beauty of every mitzvah. We don't have any idea. We don't have any idea what we're accomplishing every day. Every machshava dibur ma'isa. Anytime we have a thought of tshuva, we have a thought to do a good deed, we have a thought to come closer to Hashem. Every time we say something, we give a good word to somebody, we help somebody.
But then it begs your question that you asked, and I was thinking about, is how come that the Torah says that you're rewarded with certain things?
That's what we're going to learn about now. Oh, so now, is it really? We're going to learn now. Is it really a reward, or is it something else? We're going to see now. That's what we're going to see now. Okay, so let's go on. Okay, so you understand so far where we're holding now? Okay, now. So then why is the Torah making these promises of things of physicality if all of physicality itself is not worth the value of one mitzvah? One mitzvah is more valuable than all of physicality in total. So then how can the Torah say, I'm going to give you blessing for doing mitzvahs? Okay, there we go. Now you got this. So Ernie, you have the same question. You know, we're in line. We're good. Okay. And we know that we're supposed to fulfill our mitzvahs, not to get reward. In other words, I do my mitzvahs because Hashem wants me to do my mitzvahs. And we know schar mitzvah, mitzvah. Schar mitzvah, mitzvah. That's what we want. We want that I did this mitzvah, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu, please grant me the ability to have another mitzvah. I want to do another mitzvah because I enjoy my mitzvah so much. Right? Okay. V'lama nema schar im b'chukoisai telechu. So then why does the Torah outright say, that you get reward if you go in my ways of the chuk and your amol b'Torah. What is this lashon of halicha? Going. I'm going. Halicha means to go. I'm going. What does it mean? I'm going. What does it mean? The Rebbe writes, perhaps it would have been better, a better lashon to write if it meant to just go like this. If I'll fulfill the mitzvahs, why does the Torah use this lashon of telechu, of going? It should be more of tikaimu, that I will be fulfilled the mitzvahs. Perhaps that would have been a better lashon, but we'll see why it's not. We'll see why it's not. And of course, everything the Torah writes is absolutely perfect. Okay, let's see. We're going to understand this from what it says in the Medrash. In Vayikra Rabbah, he tells you where it's in Lamed Hey Dalit. He tells you, okay, ala pasuk im b'choyset elechu chukim shebehem chakakti es hashemayim v'es haaretz. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, I made a chukim that he established. HaKadosh Baruch Hu established it. He set these certain ordinances with heaven and earth. He's going to explain. Don't worry. Shenamar im loy brisi yom v'layla chuka shemayim v'aretz lo yisamti. if I didn't make the bris, if I didn't make the bris, the treaty with this covenant, maybe covenant is a better word we use, right? This covenant with day and night. Chukas Shemayim V'Aretz Lo Yisad. I notice if I didn't have, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, if I didn't have this covenant that day will be day and night will be night, Yoimam V'Layla. Then there was that separation of Yoimam V'Layla. So then Hashem wouldn't have made the world altogether. You know, again, we learned so many times, why is it day and night? Why do we have every day is night first and then day? Because we know that every Yid, every day has aliyahs and yeridas. Every day a Jew goes up and a Jew goes down. Every single day is part of our day. There's some times in the day that we're doing great, and there's sometimes in the day where we have to just start again. We have to start again. Every day shows us that. It starts off a little dark and dismal at night, but then in the morning it's bright. And that's why you understand. I have my Yerida, but then I go down again. But it's to come back again because I know tomorrow will be another bright day. You understand? That's part of the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the world. He set up the world in that way. Chukim shebehem chakakti es hashemesh v'esayarech. Hashem made these deals with the sun and the moon, right? The sun is a big ball of fire, and the sun radiates the light, and the moon is the makabel, right? The moon accepts the light from the sun, and then at night it can give forth its light. The same way how we learned so many times that Moshe Rabbeinu was considered the Shemesh, and Yehoshua, his Talmud was the Yareach, the moon. Why? Because Moshe Rabbeinu was radiating and giving over the Torah, and Yeshua was accepting it from his Rebbe. So that's that concept of Shemesh and Yareach. Okay? All right. Okay. Shenemar Koyamar Hashem Neisen Shemesh La'or Yoimam Chukas Yareach V'Kechavim La'or Laila. Hashem made the idea that in the morning and in the day the sun will shine bright, and at night the sun, the moon and the stars, they will give the light for the night. Okay? Chukas Shebahem Chakakti Es Hayam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu also made his treaties with the Yam, the sea, the ocean, right? The rivers, the oceans, right? Right? Shenemar B'samei LeYam Chukai. HaKadosh Baruch Hu placed on the Yam. He made also these covenants. He made this. Chukai Shebahem Chakakti Es Hachol. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the sand, right? In other words, the sand, the yam ends, right? You ever see that? You ever see the beach, right? So you see the waves coming in, and they break at the beach. They stop there. You ever think why they stop? That water was coming so strong. It was so strong. Why didn't it just keep going? No, but it stops at the beach. That was one of the chukim that HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up. He set up that thing, that the Yam will have its power, the Yam will be raging, but when it comes to the chol, when it comes to the sand, it has to stop. Amazing, right? Things that we take for granted. We're just showing all these things that we say, Marabu Masecha Hashem. When you go to the beach, you can say, Marabu Masecha Hashem. Look at this. Look at it. The water is raging, but it stops. It's fascinating. Okay. Shenema Chol Gvul Layam. Yirmiyah says, "Something Chol Gvul Layam." Hashem made he set up the beach, the sand, to be the border, the boundary to where the Yam Suf stops. Okay, all right. The Chukish V'Mechagakti Yesat Tahaim. Right, HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the Tahaim, the abyss. Right, you know, we have the cavities in the water, all of those deep cavities. What would happen if one of those cavities would decide to pick itself back up? All the water would flood the whole world. Right, the Tahaim. What's the Tahaim? I think the literal translation is abyss. Right, Yehuda, what would you say? Do you have a better word? You want to translate into a different word? No? Okay, all right, we'll take one. Okay. Shenaba b'choykei choyg al pnei tohaim. Okay, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made his treaties with the Tohaim. V'hainu HaKadosh Baruch Hu bara es kol ma'aser shemayim v'aretz im chukim. And that's the whole point that we have to understand there. HaKadosh Baruch Hu when he created the world, he created the world with chukim, with these treaties, with these covenants, ordinances, whatever you want to call them, with all of creation. Each thing understands to do what it has to do.
Physical laws.
Physical laws, yeah. For example, like you'll never see even with the animals, right? A lion will always act like a lion, and a mouse will act like a mouse, and a mouse won't act like a lion.
But like you said, with the Chok, there's no true understanding of this all.
Of course we don't know. No, the chukim of the mitzvahs, but we can understand the chukim, the covenants that Hashem made with the sun and the moon, right? For example, Ernie, tonight it's not going to be sunny.
Right.
Right? At midnight tonight, it won't be sunny outside, right? So that was part of the chukim. That was the covenant that Hashem made with the sun, that it will set, and then the moon will shine at night, and then in the morning the sun will rise, and you won't see the moon. It's not that the moon isn't.
So that's not a chuk.
That is a chuk.
What Hashem made is.
But those were also chukim. Those are also covenants. It's the same word, but it's a different context. Okay, so in other words, the chukim in the Torah are the ordinances that Hashem gave to us to do that we don't understand, right? But we could understand the chukim that Hashem made with the Yam Suf, with the water, right? Like we said, when you go to the beach, you can actually see with your eyes beautifully. You see the wave coming, and it stops right there.
So that's understandable.
To me, that's the most fascinating thing. I love if we ever go to a hotel. I love to go to a hotel to get this just to sit his buddy to just talk to the rabbi and just watch that. It's just, to me, it's mind-boggling. What?
So the chukim Hashem has made.
Yeah.
I mean, that's understandable.
We can understand, right? That we need to understand that.
Mm-hmm.
That we need to understand. We can't. Okay, but again, Ernie. Again, we see the way it manifests.
Mm-hmm.
We can see that we don't really understand the inner workings of it either. Do we understand how? Does anyone understand how the sun rises? We don't.
No.
So it's similar. You can say it's similar to the chukim of the Torah because no one really understands how it works. Hashem set it up like that. No one can explain to you how the sun rises. They'll try to explain. They'll make up different things. They'll do whatever. They'll come up with these big bang things, and they'll bang the sun and they'll bang the moon. Whatever they'll do there, right? The shtusim, right? But really, we don't understand. We all know that the sun rises and the sun sets. You can ask any child that.
Hashem knows, but we don't know. Basically.
Right. We
Hashem
don't
knows,
understand
we don't
the
know.
inner workings of it.
Yeah.
The same way, Ernie, we know how to do a para aduma, right? We know how to do it. We go get the animal, right? And we burn it, and then this, and we mix it with the water, and this, and then we sprinkle it on the person. Right, but we don't understand why when I sprinkle it on the person, if I was tar, I'm pure, and then let's say you needed to be purified, so then I sprinkle it on you, now you become pure and I become impure. Wow, I don't understand that, but I know how to do it. So it's similar, they're really both similar, okay? Okay, but now we're trying to understand, so now we're doing this to try to understand, to define how come the Torah says that I get reward if we don't get reward. So now we're defining now what does chukim mean with the creation. You understand? We're going to get there in a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, Hashem made this with all of creation, the heaven, the earth, the sun, and the moon. Hayam v'achol, the sea and the sand. Hayam v'atahoim, the Yam Suf and the abyss, the cavities of the Yam. Kulam yesh lem chukim v'seder kavua shekava lahem HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everyone has their own system that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is kaveya for them, established for them, and they follow them. That's the yes.
It's even more than that.
Okay.
Well, they can come up with reasons. You can think of physical reasons, and you may even be able, if you could, to prove them. Not to disagree with what was said, But then they can't explain how was Joshua made the sun stand still for an hour. The whole arguments fall apart with the actual.
No, but again,
events.
how was he able to keep the sun stay? No, because again, everything was made Bereshis B'Shvil Yisrael.
That's right.
Everything in the world was created for Klal Yisrael. So at any time, how did Hashem split the Yam Suf? Again, because it was for us. It was for us. Hashem made the Yam Suf that way.
But the
That's part of the Chukim.
yeah, but the rational theorists can't.
Who cares about them?
So it shows that it's another example, but they don't know what they're thinking
They, of
about.
course, they don't know what they.
Because they're too.
Listen, they're not maminim. They're not mamin in the Torah. They want to try to disprove Hashem. They're enemies of Hashem. That's what they are. They're enemies of Hashem. Those guys are all enemies of Hashem.
And of themselves.
If you think about it, if you think for 1 second, we'll just say one thing outside. If you think about it, one thing. Why every single day, in every single newspaper, in every single country, they talk about Jerusalem. every paper. And now they're talking about Harabayas. Could you ever think of that? Why the heck does the world care about this little tiny city and this little tiny place? And the whole world is talking about it. And they're also talking about all this other stuff that we spoke about before, right? Their education and their things and the formula problem and all of these things, right? It's all one thing. Israel stands against their beliefs. They know real well that the Harabayas, there's supposed to be a Beis Hamikdash standing there. They know that. And that's why they're trying their best to protect that Al-Aqsa monstrous building that's standing there. That we had the right to destroy that. We could have destroyed it, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's Hashem. But why? But I'm just showing you, why are they trying to specifically, because they don't want us to have the Beis Hamikdash. Because they'll be disproved. You ever think of that? It's amazing.
They think they can allow us to destroy Hashem.
They can think what they want, but they'll see the end. Vayoymahu yeh Hashem echad u'shmo echad. V'lo Moshe ba'atziyah lishpeites haresav. V'yis Hashem hamlucha. V'y Hashem lemelech al kol haaretz. Hashem will be the king very
Is that
soon.
supposed to be when the Messiah comes? Or,
When Messiah is going to come, it's going to come. It's going to come, yeah. Hey. Okay, let's go. Okay, now. V'asita hakala biyoysa afilu kichuta sa'ara misidrei habriya tigroim churban ba'olam. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu would change just a little thing, just something. We know we have tsunamis in the world, right? These crazy things. What is a tsunami? The water comes, what is these things? And we know we have earthquakes. And we know we have all these different things in the world. If HaKadosh Baruch Hu just changes something a little bit, we can't continue. We can't continue. What if HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought the sun a fraction of a millimeter closer to the earth? We would burn up. Really, everything is so perfect. Everything is so perfectly done. It's fascinating. It would be Tigra. We'd have destruction. Next page now. Shekol kiyam abriya toli bechukei v'sidra. Right. So the whole bria, all of creation, is dependent on the chukim and the order that HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up. V'shayrish kol chukim heim chukei HaTorah. Oh. So now here's the connection. Chukim of the Torah, the chukim of the world, of creation. Look at this. Sha'asa HaKadosh Baruch Hu es ha-teva olam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu made the nature of the world, teva, nature in this world, right? Shekol chukei abriya tluyim bezeh sheYisrael mekaymim es chukei ha-Torah. Hashem established this idea, this concept that we have to fulfill our chukim like we were learning. We have to fulfill our chukim, do all of our mitzvahs like chukim, do them with love and fear of HaKadosh Baruch Hu when we do our mitzvahs. Now, shal yedei zeh ma'amidim al mechoinam kol sidrei habriya tluyim b'chukei haTorah. So the chukim of the Torah are intricately connected to the chukim of the Bria.
But if we don't do the chukim of the Bria, there won't be the chukim of a Torah?
No, it's the other way around. If we don't follow the chukim of the Torah, so then we're gonna cause that possibly the chukim that Hashem established with creation, they won't be done. They're intricately connected. If we follow the chukim of the Torah, right? So then HaKadosh Baruch Hu maintains the chukim that He has of creation.
But if we don't follow the chukim of the Torah,
wait a minute, that's it.
If we don't follow it, then Hashem will not
watch this.
Hashem
Next
will
line.
not do the chukim of the,
Next line.
Yeah.
No, wait. V'zeu perish mamar kosev. Im loi brisi yoimam v'layla chuka shemayim v'atz loi santi. That's what we said, the thing, that if you're not going to keep, if HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have His treaty, so to say, his covenant with the day and night, He wouldn't set up the whole thing of Shemayim and Oretz, right? She'ein zeh ma'at oynesh, mitam oynesh. See, this is not a punishment. It's not a punishment. See, we think that it's a punishment and reward. HaKadosh Baruch Hu would not have done it because it's not a punishment. It knows HaKadosh Baruch Hu made. We know the Zayah says HaKadosh Baruch Hu was mistakel by Raisu by Re'olam. HaKadosh Baruch Hu looked into the Torah and He created the world based on the Torah, and He created everything in the world so we can fulfill the Torah. And we know that Raisu Yisrael v'Kuchabrichu Kulei Klal Yisrael, the Torah and Hashem is one. So the same way Hashem, now we understand this, look, honey.
Yeah,
so wait. So the same way Hashem set up the chukim of the world, right? Of creation, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Torah has the chukim in it, and we are connected, wait a second, and we are connected to the Torah, and we are connected to Hashem, because we're all one unit.
Okay.
Why? Because every single Jew has a chelik elikami mal. We have an neshama that's inside of us. That's a piece of HaKadosh Baruch Hu kiviyachol. That's inside of each and every one of us.
But can you really say if there were no Jews in the world,
The world won't exist.
Then the world will not.
The world not exactly. In other words, the first 2,000 years of creation was done through Chesed. We didn't have the Torah, right?
That's true.
We didn't have the Torah. So then HaKadosh Baruch Hu just gave us free chesed. But once we have the Torah, there has to be Jews in the world. Mm-hmm. If there wouldn't be Jews in the world wouldn't exist.
Okay, all right.
The world wouldn't exist because no one would be following the Torah. She'ein zeh mitam oynish, ela zui mitzias habriya shechuka shemayim v'aretz teluyim b'kiyim chukei haTorah u'baladei zeh ein kiyim lebriya. See, the chukim of the Bria are intricately connected to the chukim of the world. So when we fulfill the chukim of the Torah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu maintains.
If Chas v'Shalom, all the Jews would no longer fulfill the chukim of the Torah.
Yeah. So then it would be curtains for the world.
For the world.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now we can understand why the Torah says if I go in the ways of the Torah, then I'll give you your rain in the proper time. Right? We don't want rain, right, like in Eretz Yisrael, right? We don't have rain. We stop praying for rain now. Right? We say the same bracha now. We don't say the same Talamot Lavra. We took away that, bro, because right now it's not good in Eretz Yisrael if it would rain. Because the plants don't need the rain right now. It's not good for the plants. It wouldn't work. We want the rain in the wintertime in Eretz Yisrael. You understand? And that's why the HaKadosh Baruch Hu says Be'itam. So you have the rains in the proper time, right? She'ein ze schar ha-mitzvahs. That's not schar. That's not reward for the mitzvahs. Ela zu ha-mitzias v'seid ha-bria. Oh, wait a minute. So that's not. It's not going to be that I get a reward for doing my mitzvahs. Rather, this is, in fact, the fulfillment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's maintenance of the world, the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu organized the world in the first place. Makes sense now, right?
But he still needs observance of the mitzvahs.
Of course, but that's what she'im mekayim es chukas haTorah. If we'll fulfill the chukim, which we said are all the mitzvahs of the Torah, harei mida keneged mida miskayim gam keim kol chukas habriya v'ateva. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu will also fulfill all the chukim and of the bria and do everything the way He's supposed to do if we're doing what we're supposed to do. So it's not a matter of because we said schar mitzvah b'hai al maleka. There is no schar mitzvah in this world, right? We said there's no schar mitzvah. So then how come the Torah tells me it's schar? But it's not really schar mitzvah. It's really HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeping the chukim. And it, like last week's parsha, we were talking about the Shemitah, right? And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu said over there, if we'll ask what are we going to eat, whatever it is, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said, I'll give you I'll turn on the bracha again. What does he mean? I'll turn on the bracha again? Because really the chukim of the way the HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up the world, that we should have a Shemitah in Eretz Yisrael. And when we fulfill the farmers fulfill the mitzvah of Shemitah in Eretz Yisrael the right way. Whether they're doing it whether they're doing it with Oitze Bezdin, or they're doing it with Heter Mechira, whatever the case, whatever they're doing, but they're following Das Torah. They're doing it in a way of Das Torah. So then the bracha keeps going. But if we ask, then Hashem has to send the bracha again. Why? Because we caused the hefsek. We cause our own hefsek. If we just fulfill the mitzvahs and we accept the mitzvahs from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeps giving. But if we ask questions and we start to question, should I keep the mitzvahs or should I not keep the mitzvahs? So then we cause that hefsek, like we're learning over here, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu has His chukim in the Torah. And we have to do it. And if we do that, then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us everything that we need in the proper time. Yes?
A person can ask a question, say, okay, why should I do it? In other words, he wants an explanation. What's the cost of this? Well, that's not, it's also could be say, look what I'm willing to give up whatever that X dollars, pounds, whatever you want to call them, jelly beans. I want to know what it is. I want to know if this is a trivial thing or it's really an important thing. I want to have a perspective. I want to know that when I'm doing this mitzvah, I'm willing to give up the dollars. I'm willing to bear the time.
Okay.
I'm willing to,
okay.
In other words, he wants to have
I want to give you. I'm going to tell you. I want to tell you a story, a true story that happened to help understand that. Okay. There was a farmer that was in the area of the Yam HaMelech, that area over there in Eretz Yisrael. You know, on the way to Eilat, down there, there's a lot of farms down there. So there was this one farmer that was not a Frum Yid, but there was a Rav that decided to come to that area and set up a little base medrash over there and start to learn with them. So this Rav was sitting there and he was learning with these farmers every day, and this was going on for 2 or 3 years, and then it was coming up to the year of Shemitah. It was coming up for the year of Shemitah. So the Rav was explaining to them that, HaKadosh Baruch Hu really says that we're not allowed to use our fields during Shemitah, and we shouldn't do anything, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the blessing. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give us the blessing. So there was one year there that he was a true Pashat Yid, and he had a Emunah Pshuta, and he heard the words of the rabbi, and he didn't understand them, but he said, you know what? If this is what the Torah wants me to do, he says HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care of me. He asked the rabbi after the class, he says, you mean to tell me, Rabbi, if I fulfill this, what you just taught here now, that I don't run my farm on the year of Shemitah, I will be okay? And HaKadosh Baruch Hu will take care of me? So the rabbi said, yes. He says, I make a achlata now, I will not. He makes a commitment, he's not going to do this. So listen to what happens. I'll make the story quicker. The year of Shemitah starts, right? It was Rosh Hashanah, the year of Shemitah starts. Now, all his friends, all the other farms were busy, and they were running. They were Chilonim. They were secular Jews. They weren't following. But on his land, nothing was going on, and they were making fun of him. What are you doing? Come on, you're right. You look at all the money you're going to lose. And then he was having some problems. He wasn't selling anything. The bills kept coming in, and he didn't have money. And the problems, right? Then the story goes that he got himself a job in the Marcolet. He got himself a job in the Marcolet. He would, ringing up things, on the cash. He was a cashier. And the guys would all come in, and then they would say to him, "Oh, come on, what are you doing, Moshe? What are you doing? Go run your field. What are you sitting here?" He didn't pay attention. He had it in his mind. The rabbi told him he's going to be taken care of. Okay. It was very, very hard for him. And they were cheppering him. They were bothering him. You could understand. All the other guys were mamish bothering him. But he didn't care. And somehow he got through the year. And it was Rosh Hashanah again. After Rosh Hashanah, he went down to the agriculture department to get seeds. He wanted to get seeds to be able to plant now. It's after Shemitah. He wanted to get seeds. So he comes in, he meets the guy that he normally makes a deal with to get his seeds. And the guy says to him, well, I'm sorry, but we have no seeds left. There are no seeds left. Everyone, they were taken. He said, what do you mean there's no seeds left? There has to be something left. Something. Something has to be left. He begs him. I'm sorry, I have nothing. And then as he's walking out of the office, the guy says, something I do have? I have some kind of a cabbage, some kind of a sour cabbage. I have seeds. There's a whole silo full of these seeds that I realize, and we're going to throw these, we're going to be disposing of these. So if you want them, you can have them, but you have to come within the next 3 hours or whatever it was, because they're getting rid of them. So the guy said, please give me a little more time. I got to get my truck. He got these seeds, and he planted all of this cabbage, and wow, it started growing. And he had cabbage and cabbage and cabbage and cabbage all over the place. And everyone was looking at him and says, well, where about your agvaniyot, your malafnefoni? Where about your cucumbers, your tomatoes, your pilpulim, your pepper? What are you going to do with this cabbage? What are you going to do with this? What are you going to do with it? Listen to what happened now. I'm telling you, it's amazing.
This is a true story.
Yeah, true story. Listen, what happened was, he got a call from the agriculture department, that fella that gave him the seeds, and said to him, there's a big businessman from Europe that's coming, and he wants to buy your cabbage. Really? How much of it does he want to buy? He wants to buy all of it. He said, okay, how do I do this? So he says that he's going to come with his helicopter to your field. He's going to meet you with his helicopter. He's going to meet you over there, and you're going to go in the helicopter with him. You're going to show him the perimeter of your whole field, and you're making a deal of how much he's going to pay you. He's going to pay you for this for your cabbage. So what happened? He gets the helicopter shows up. He gets into the helicopter, and this businessman is amazed to see how much cabbage this guy has. So he asked this businessman, he says, what do you want the cabbage for? No one, I tried to give this stuff away in Israel. No one would buy it from me. What do you need it for? He says, you know what happened? He said there was a freeze in Europe, and the cabbage didn't grow. So all of Europe doesn't have cabbage. They all like their kraut and their things and all of that stuff. They make all the, and they need the cabbage. They need it. So he says, how much of it do you want? I want all of it. When? Now. So he says, how much do you want for it? So he says, what do you want to pay me? So he looks and he says to him, would you take 5 million euro? 5 million euro. Today it's probably like $6 million. Okay? $6 million. He says, I'll take it. He said, I'll take it. He sent this plane, whatever it was, they collected all of the cabbage. They wired him the money, whatever it was. And they say that he got at the time, this was a few years ago, he bought a Cadillac. You know, in Israel, it's a funny car. You don't really see too many Cadillacs riding around. But he bought a Cadillac, a big Cadillac, and he wrote on that, he said, the Birchat Hashem. He wrote on, this is the bracha of Hashem. Amazing. Mamash, a true story. The guy, because this is what we're learning here. The chukim, this is what it's all about, Ernie. If we follow what we're supposed to do, Hashem does what he's supposed to do. HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows, and he sat there in that class, and the rabbi told him that Hashem will take care because Hashem promises you, if you keep my mitzvahs, I'll take care of you. Like we're learning over here, but it's not the schar mitzvah. It's not you getting reward for your mitzvah. It's just the way it works. It's just the way it works. It's a cause and effect system. A cause and effect. It's not that it's a schar mitzvah. And that's what we learned over here. Does it make sense now, Ernie?
It makes sense, yes.
So in other words, we have the same chukim of the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us in the Torah. We do them, we don't understand them. The same way there are chukim in the world that Hashem created the world with the sun and the moon and the sea and the sand and the abyss and all of these things, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu made all of these things, and they all work perfectly. Because they work perfectly. Why? Because we're following the chukim of the Torah. So the chukim of the Torah are intricately connected to the chukim of the world. So it's not that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, yeah, the Torah says I'm going to give you your rain in the proper time, but that's just the way it's going to work. It's not because it's a schar mitzvah. That's just part of the chukim, and that's just the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up the Torah. Does that make sense? Anyone have any comments?
I have a question.
Go ahead, Marty.
In the case with the cabbage,
Yeah.
the guy didn't do it during Shemitah. He didn't plant during. He did it later.
No, he planted. He waited till he was permitted to plant after the next Rosh Hashanah. Of course, and he went to collect the seeds after the planting season. Right? Everyone plants way before then. It's growing at that time. Right? It's growing.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no. It's a good you clarified. Thank you, everybody.